Salakia. This is part 2 of the teaching. So, when you deal with elders, man, you have to understand. You gotta respect them. When you deal with old One West foundation, when you deal with old One West Shalom, when you deal with old One West foundation, before you can get on the line, you have to learn years teaching, devotion, foundation. And then if you get on the line, before you can even speak or say or utter a word, man. I've heard from brothers, elders that have taught me. When they was in One West, they couldn't say a damn thing. That for about 2 or 4 years, they were just a man holding posts just like this. Just holding a stick, man. Like this. Year, day in, day out. Then, after holding a post, they developed into, okay, I'm a be a reader. Now instead of holding posts, I can read now. Okay, I'll read. Now I can start giving precepts. Then more years go by. Now they're finally teaching. And that's something that we do need to go back to. You know, we more, a sense, progressive in this age. You know, back then, you know, our elders are more conservative when you look at them. And you still have to love them and respect them because they're conservative for a reason. But we're more progressive, as in we're waking up into the truth. And most of Israel, you know, it says in patience you possess your souls, man. They don't have the patience to just be holding posts like that. Sometimes you gotta, you know, if they're really ready, try them and allow them to at least, you know, read or something. Allow them to at least read. You know, not everyone's ready to teach, but some people are ready to give precepts. And sometimes allow them to expound on the precepts. You know, the elders back then, they understood the they understood the problems that came with how they did order, how they kept order. They found the error in their ways, and they've changed. So in a sense, that's why I say we're the progressive Hebrew era, right? So when you deal with Lam, it means rulership. It means to well, it just means staff, but Lamad means to teach and deals with rulership, and staffs deal with rulership. So that's another Hebrew character that we hold dear. It's something that we should all study these things. And I went and studied, and you can too. It just takes time. You know, me more of I'm more of a bit of a no life. I don't have a life. I don't have children. You know, I don't have no wife. I only have the Lord and my brothers, man. So sometimes I might irritate, you know, my brothers with questions. You know, it's like, man, look it up. That's how they are. Just look it up, man. I got children. You know, don't take it personal, but look it up. You can't ask me every question, man. You gotta find it out for yourself sometimes. That's why it says show thyself approved. You gotta show yourself approved. Go and learn these things. And it's better to go and learn it and ask them, is this right? Is this correct? Is this the right thing? Am I wrong in that? It's sometimes better to go and ask them questions, and they're like, you know, okay, he's learning. And if, you know, if it's something wrong, it's good to show your elders and be like, you know, that is against doctrine. You know, that's not the right type of thinking. But I understand at least you're trying to learn stuff. So it's good that you're coming to me for advice, because they're your elders, they're your counselors, and your teachers, and they're in a sense like a older family member. You know, they're like your grandfathers, they're like your elder brothers, they're like your uncles, because we're all a family in this, right? So dealing with the next Hebrew character, right? Now to check real quick. Yep, and it's right. Okay, so Ma is a very important Hebrew character, right? Ma looks like it looks like a M. It looks like an M, and he just threw a line in it, you know. Our people always been extra, adding an extra line in it, but it's really just an M. So ma means water. When you deal with the word mayam means water in Hebrew. So ma means water, and I'm gonna show you why. You know, when you deal with people that can't, you young, you in elementary, and your teacher tell you draw water, what you gonna draw? That's what you're gonna draw. That's water. That's a wave, teacher. That's a wave, teacher. And all our elder, or well, all our, those who developed the Hebrew language back then, it was like, well, you know what? That's what it looks like to me. It looks like a wave. And they did this. It looks like a wave of water. So I'm gonna draw it a bit better, right? When you do it with the picture, so you put it sideways, right? That's what we draw, right? That's what the wave of water looks like to us. It dips, goes up, it dips and goes down, right? So that's where they got ma from. And that's where mayam comes from. The word mayam means water in Hebrew. So the next Hebrew character is na. And I'm gonna show you what na means, because I already know it in my mind, right? But I'm gonna still check. I want to give y'all the wrong impression, just in case I'm wrong, but I know it's nah. It's none, right? They threw a U in it, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give it to you how it's supposed to be spelled, right? So none looks like a upside, like you flip in upside down and then throw a huge line in it. Our people just extra for no reason, but when you do it with the English language, I'm gonna show you, right? So when you look at N, right, that's what N looks like. It looks like that none. It looks like they flipped N upside down and elongated the line. So what does the word none mean? It means seed, right? Yep, I was right. It means seed. It means sprout, right? So when you deal with seed or sprout, I'll show you. I'm gonna show you in multiple ways, because me personally, I had a struggle trying to develop or in like picture in my mind what these things could mean. So when you look at that, that's none, right? That's like you smash two nuns together. It looks like a seed. It looks like a seed, right? It looks like a seed, right? So it looks like a seed, and you're like, wow, that's where they got none from. It looks like a seed. And then also, I'm gonna show you, it means a seed that is sprouted sometimes too, right? I'm trying. It's kind of what it looks like, right? That's their depiction, but mine is, to me personally, I can understand. You know, it looks like a C. When you smash them together, it looks like a C. So it also means seed sprouted. But we'll go to the next Hebrew character. So, next Hebrew character is sin, right? Sin. So, sin looks like a T. It looks like a T. If you took the two other lines out, it looks like a T. All right? So it looks like a T in the English language. So, let's see what sin was developed from. So, sin, one second here. Sin was developed from a bush shield. So, sin was developed from a bush shield, and I'm going to try to give it to you is the best way I can. So this is sin. So when you deal with a bush shield, or when you look at certain tribes of Hamites in Africa, their shields would be literally a stick like that with pelt on the front of it. And I'm gonna show you, right? That's what their shield will look like. And you see the little stick at the bottom will be showing. They'll have the extra peg to grip their hand under and hold it. And the stick that was at the bottom was on their forearm to brace upon it. So that's where sin come from. You know, I know you think of sin, it's another word, but the word for sin is in Hebrew is actually hata. So it really doesn't have sin in it, but the sound for sin is sa. So sasana, the word for sasana, was developed from sin. So sasana, sa, right? On to the next one. My personal favorite Hebrew word, the Hebrew word that developed my name, that you know, that it started a lot of this walk. It developed my name, and it's really kind of where I just threw my name, threw the the meaning behind it straight in, and it became my name. So, Ayin, which my name is Ayin Yah, as in my eye, saying that the Most High is my eye. Ayin. As you can see, Ayin looks like a eye pupil. Even in the the modern, right? Not the modern, Salakia, middle Assyrian captivity. Middle Syrian captivity, but this is the early. The early is literally an eye, right? Boom. Boom. That's what the early AN looks like. It's an eye, and we can all learn from this. So we had words, just like I said previously, that developed the character. An, which means I, developed the character An, which looks like an I. And you can see even in the middle captivity, it still kept some of the aspects of the early. It still kept the pupil. They got rid of the eye hole, or the I is a total, but they kept the pupil. And I, or the an, is the sound for an is I, is it. Like, let me think of a word with an in it. Allah means to ascend, right? You know, that's my that's my close brother's wife. You know, brother's very dear to me. His wife's name is Ahlaph. It means to ascend. It's the first letter of the name of the Hebrew word Ahlaph, which means to ascend. So, an takes on the same aspect of the English letter character for I, which is it. You know, it, or, you know, I, in the literal terms for Ahlaph, right? So, another one, and it looks, you know, it looks like the early la that I was talking about. It looks like a cane, but it's really fa, right? It's fa. But I'm gonna show you the name of this pa real quick. And it's Faye. It's Faye. It's Faye, right? Faye is this. That's Faye, right? And I'm gonna show you a couple of other characters for, you know, for Faye, dealing with the early. So Faye, it means mouth. Never be afraid to go back and check. Faye, it means mouth. Now I already knew it, but I just wanted to make sure. And I'm gonna show you, because I have a problem with always remembering what that means. Like the character for Faye, I always remember as that little cane. That's how I write it in my writings, and I believe they don't write it like that in the Old Testament Paleo Hebrew. I don't think our ancestors wrote it like that in those tablets. But I digress. Right? The early Fae looks like lips, right? As you can see, it looks like lips. If you just draw a line in it, it'll look like lips, right? Boom. Those are lips right there. So that's what Fae looks like. Another character, character image for Fae, or Pa, which has the sound of Pa, right? Because it deals with lips. Pa. When you think of lips, you think of Pa, right? You think of P. So this is another letter image of Pa. I'm thinking like, well, where do you get that from? Well, it looks like a halfway P. Shalom. It looks like a halfway P. I mean lips. Like when you think of a emoji lips or a laughing emoji, that's what that is. And I'm gonna show you. You see that? I'm gonna exaggerate it. See that? So that's where you get that from. All right. So it looks like a laughing emoji. The lips of a laughing emoji. That is the letter P, or Fae. Fae. Fa. Ph. Fa. Or Pa. It's either or. It depends on the you know, character combinations, where it could be Pa or it could be Fa. For example, like when you deal with prayer is fal'al in Hebrew. Fal'al, fal'al instead of Pa. But you have I think that's the only Hebrew word that can come up or can imagine right now. If it comes to me before, or maybe I'll come back and revisit it. But when you think of pa, it's fa, right? PH, because the Hebrew word for pray or prayer is fal'al, fal'al, right? So now we have tazah, tazah. Now, tazah, I'm gonna check and see what the meaning of tazah is. Well, there's multiple depictions of tazah, and none of them deal with how it looks. But I'm gonna give you most of the the gist of tazah, right? Because not every Hebrew character, as I stated earlier or previously, has a beginning word or a word that it was developed from, right? It doesn't have a predecessor word, so it's just created and intuitively created. So but it has actually 3 different depictions, but I'm gonna give you tazah for itself, right? So tazah looks like a chair, right? It looks like a chair, and when you think of tazah, you think of Captain Tazariak off of ISUPK, strong brother, even though his name means cry, right? Hey, strong men, they do cry, but in the sense of not crying with tears, just in case he might get upset. I mean, crying as crying out loud and sighing, crying, like those who get the mark, those that sigh and cry of the iniquities of this nation. So that's why he named himself Tazariak. Not because he cries, not because he's a gentleman, even though he's a nice brother and he knows how to conduct himself, but not as in Terry Crews as, show your feminine side, right? Tazariak as in he cries aloud and cries on the city streets, man, to wake up his people. So tazah looks like a chair. It looks like a chair. So when you come down with it, and in the middle, it looks like a chair with, feet in front. And it's just that simple. It's tazah. And the word that has tazah in it is Tazariak. So when you think of tazah, think of Captain Tazariak, strong brother ISUBK. Although I'm a part of HOI, and I learn and I study under them, we still love all the brothers, even though, not all camps are more open to collaboration, but we still love our brothers out there. So we went over tazah. Now we have quap, right? And quap doesn't really have. I'm gonna check again. Well, quap doesn't really have a predecessor word either. So yeah. I hate using U's. It is such a pet peeve for me. So it's spelled it's spelled Q, right? I'm gonna do the Q better. So Q, it uses a U, right? I'm not gonna really use U's in my teachings. I'm gonna stay, strict as I can, because there's no U in the Assyrian. In a modern, yeah, if you want to do modern, that's fine. right? So quap, which is qua, right? Quap, it has a predecessor word. It just the predecessor word doesn't have a depiction, salakia. So the predecessor word doesn't have a a depiction like an, which is I, or na, which is a C. So it just created quap, and it looks like a Q. It looks like Q with a long line. We extra, just add that extra line. We could have just kept it as a regular Q, but we've always been the extra people. So quap is quap, and let me think of a word that deals with quap other than like karataza, right? I think it's karataza, but when you deal with karataza or yaiquab, you got karataza, yaiquab, quadash. Shame on me for not even remember that. Quadash has qua in it. So quadash, which means holy, has its first character is qua. Right? On to the next one. We have like 3, and it's beautiful. We've been going through this, just blowing through this. I actually enjoyed it, so I might do this more. So we done with quap, and now we have returned to our little crafty Hebrew character, and that is ra. And I'm gonna get this right now. Right? It's ra. It says resh, but it's rosh, right? So that is rosh, and when you think of rosh, it's really just a head, okay? And I'm gonna show you why rosh is a head. And you're looking, how's that a head? It looks like a sideways P, a sideways P or backwards Q, lowercase q. I'm gonna show you why rosh, like when you think of rosh, it means head, and a word that means head in Hebrew is rosh. Literally, rosh right there. So when you think of like, I'm trying to remember the name. It's a cartoon character. One of the cartoon characters is Perry the Platypus. I'm not sure what cartoon that is, and I'm not gonna stress about it, but if you know the cartoon that deals with Perry the Platypus, you know how the 2 main characters' heads is shaped, right? Right? That's why Ra'ash looks like a head. That looks like a head. It looks like a man with a hat on, and that's his head. So when you go back and check, Perry, the platypus, and the cartoon that deals with that, and look at the 2 main characters, right? And one of them, his head looks just like that. Right? Okay. Now, we've gotten to another character, which is called Shah. Right? It's really Shah. It says Shin. But I'm gonna put Shin. It says Shin. Right? Okay. So Shah, to us, it looks like a W. So when you look, we already know the W looks like a tent peg. It looks like a Y, a lowercase y. It's Y. But Shah it's a reason why it was called Shah. Shah comes from Shin or Shah. Salakia. It's, we already know. Shah means teeth. Just when you deal with the word Ahlaph-bet, which is a title of our Lord, which means terrible power. And when you deal with Allah, Allah means power and Shah means teeth. And when you deal with a terrible creature, when you deal with a lion or a powerful creature like a lion, when he clamps down on you with them jaws, man, that's terrible. He'll destroy you just with his teeth. He's a terrible creature, right? That's how the Lord is. He's a Ahlaph-bet. He's the lion, man. When you deal with, Yahweh, or when you deal with the Messiah, he is the Lion of Judah. Ahlaph-bet, man. He comes down and he bites you with them teeth. He's the Lion of Judah. You're finished. But that's our Hebrew character, Shah. And we're going to clear it up with the last Hebrew character, Tha. Right? Now, Tha looks like a sideways T. When you deal with a T, it's straight. So when you think of, Tha, and you see that, just remember, it's like a T instead of T, because T is tat right here, which is tat. You see, that's tat, and it's a circle with the cross in the middle. So don't think T, think Tha, right? Like, we always say, how Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Barak, Tha, right? So when you think of this, remember, Tha, right? And Tha is developed from, let's see if it has. So Tha is developed from the ideal of two sticks crossed together. When you look at Tha, it looks like two sticks crossed together. It also looks like a crucifix, like a leaned crucifix. Even though this is previous to the ideals of crucifixion, you can kind of see where they get it from. It's from the letter Tha. Those two sticks put together. Also, in a sense, when Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom were divorced or divided, I believe it's Ezekiel. And Ezekiel was a prophet with the ideal of take these two sticks and bring them together and make them as one. So, an ideal Tha has always been a very, important letter to our culture and even the things that we've gone through concerning persecution. So, with that is all the Hebrew alphabet. That is their meanings to the best of my ability, all the sounds. And, most high willing, I'll do another teaching, a better teaching. I'll get better at this, more sharp with it. And maybe I might do more of these. But if we do more of these, make sure you go back and look at these. I might put these up. Most high willing, I will put these up on teachings on our channel at HOiATL, lowercase h, right? HOiATL. No, Salakia, lowercase I, HOiATL. And I'll write it out for you. So, this is our YouTube page, right? It's ATL Atlanta, ATL HOI lowercase I at Atlanta on YouTube. Check us out. most high willing, I put this up there, and that you'll learn a lot from this. Other than that, this is your brother Aya from the ATL HOI Atlanta chapter. You know, most high bless all of you. You know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barak Thumb. You know, the water. Atah Shemai Anaya. You know, Shemai Anya. To, you know, La Lamad Atah. You know, the water for listening, you know, to me just enough. So, you know, I was able to, you know, teach you or learn. You know, you learn from this. You learn from me. So, with that, Thawab Layala, because it's nighttime over here. Thawab Layala and Shalom.